Rowan Blanchard.
Hi guys! This is such an incredible sight. I wish you guys could all see this. There's so many people, so many people. You guys should be very proud. I also just want to say, please raise your hand if you're a kid and you're here. Good for you. When Barack Obama was elected president on November 8th, 2008, I was 8 years old. I didn't process this day as political. Instead, it felt like a day of pure celebration, and the feeling of hope was palpable. Our teacher began class by showing us Obama's speeches, talking to us about what made this president different and why that change was a good thing. I remember standing in the street and people were driving by with their windows down and cheering. Woo! I instantly fell in love with feeling like I was a part of something much bigger than myself. But on November 8th, 2016, I woke up with a very bad stomachache. I couldn't stop shaking. I had so much anxiety. I decided to go to watch the results of the election with a few friends at a party. Midway through, my mom called me crying, and what followed next still feels like a blurry movie. We saw red. I can only process what happened after that very factually because I felt so detached from the place I call home. I woke up the next morning in a dreary, somber state. There were texts from everybody I knew, but they were worded very bleak. What are we going to do? I was sad, and I felt guilty that I had no answer. I tried to fill this emptiness with a rushed activism that put a band-aid on the pain, but did not solve it. Then, about a month later, something great happened. We didn't want to sit and grow complacent in our own singular pain. We wanted to turn that pain into something stronger, something more malleable, which we realized could only be done in numbers.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
The idea of fighting any fight alone is one that terrifies me, and I am lucky to fall back on a generation that believes in the same morals I do. My generation, who I am so honored to stand representing right now, knows exactly what is going on, despite what many adults tell us. We know what's happening because it's happening to us too. We are so actively engaged in these conversations surrounding intersectionality and what freedom actually means that we are willing to risk our lives for it. It is a time so vulnerable that you see the world in two very honest ways: human rights or the lack thereof. My generation is made up of activist friends in England, in Japan, in France, and more, and we have never met each other in person. We are a generation that recognizes the collective power and potential that can be generated through social media, and we work to educate one another when we do not understand. This is largely overlooked by the news and in general politics, simply because we cannot vote. My generation may not have had a technical legal voice in this election, but that doesn't stop me from saying that we are already the most politically active one.
Yeah! Yes! Yes!
Speaking about my generation doesn't feel like politics, because it's my brothers and my sisters, my best friends, and myself. It is incredibly personal. This is our life. I find hope knowing that in 4 years, we will be able to vote towards something that is good.
Yes! Yes, we will!
Here's a verse from Rebecca Solnit's Hope in the Dark. The focus on survival demands that you notice the tiger in the tree before you pay attention to the beauty of its branches. Problems are our work. We deal with them in order to survive or to improve the world, and so to face them is better than turning away from them, from burying them and denying them. To face them can be an act of hope, but only if you remember that they're not all there is. Hope is not a door, but a sense that there might be a door at some point, some way out of the problems of the present moment, even before that way is found or followed. I trust in this. I believe in art, but more than that, I believe in the ineffable power of community. if women, if queer people, if people of color have survived this long in a world that refuses to represent them, that must amount to a force much greater than one man with nothing more to invest in than his ego.
Yeah! Yes! Yes! Yes!
We have been forced to know how to fight since day one, and this is our advantage. When I get to sport, I ease into determination. When I hear the quiet voice in my head that tells me, we have done this before. We know how to do this.
Yeah! Yeah, we do! Yes!
In order to make these changes, we must be aware and constantly acknowledge our privileges. This means understanding and admitting that the majority of the white woman vote went to Trump, and we must work harder to make people aware that racial bias and gender bias cannot be separated, they work together. This means actively practicing and actively working to undo any biases we hold in our minds, because it should not be up to those communities to explain it to us. To try harder to educate ourselves. We must admit that our singular experience cannot account for everyone else's. We must. I am filled with a light blue hope that is still healing. If there is one promising thing about all of this, which can often feel so fragmented and broken, take comfort in the fact that we are all here together as one people, uniting towards good. Thank you very much.